Hello, and welcome to Easy English Listening, the podcast for English language learners who want to take their English to the next level. I'm Avery.
And I'm Melody. We're so glad you're here with us today.
Today, we have a topic that might sound a little scary at first, but I promise it's a game changer. We're talking about how talking to strangers will change your life.
Ooh, I can feel some of our listeners getting nervous already. And that's okay. A stranger is just a person you haven't met yet. But Avery, be honest, do you find it easy to talk to new people?
Honestly, sometimes I still get a little nervous. My heart beats a bit faster, and I think, what if I say something silly? Or what if they don't want to talk to me? It's a totally normal feeling.
Exactly. And when you're learning a new language, that feeling can be even bigger. But in today's episode, we're going to show you why it's worth pushing past that little bit of fear.
That's right. We'll talk about all the amazing benefits of starting simple conversations. Then we'll give you a step-by-step guide on how to actually do it. We're talking easy, practical tips.
And most importantly, we'll cover how to do it safely and comfortably. So stick around because this is an episode you don't want to miss.
All right, Melody, let's dive right in. Part 1. Why should we even bother talking to strangers? What's the point?
Okay, the number one reason, especially for our listeners, is that it is the best English practice you can get, period.
Absolutely. You can study textbooks and watch movies all day, but nothing compares to a real live conversation.
Right. In a real conversation, you have to listen carefully, think on your feet, and respond. You'll hear how people really talk, the slang, the speed, the rhythm. It's practice you can't get in a classroom.
That makes sense. It's like the difference between practicing basketball by yourself and actually playing in a game.
Perfect analogy. And that brings us to benefit number 2, building confidence. Every time you start a small conversation, you're proving to yourself that you can do it.
Right. Even a tiny interaction, like asking a barista how their day is going, is a small victory. It's a little confidence boost.
Totally. And those small victories add up. Soon you'll feel more comfortable speaking up in class, making new friends, and just navigating daily life in English.
Okay, so we've got language practice and confidence. What's benefit number 3?
Discovering new things. Every person has a unique story, unique knowledge. You might learn about a cool new band, a great place to eat, or a perspective on something you've never thought about before.
Yeah, that's so true. I once asked someone in a park about the book they were reading. We ended up talking for 20 minutes, and now it's one of my favorite books. I never would have found it otherwise.
See? A small moment of connection can open up a whole new world. And that leads to our final benefit, making friends and feeling less lonely.
This is a big one. Moving to a new place or starting at a new school can be lonely.
It really can. And while not every stranger will become your best friend, every friendship starts with a first conversation. Talking to people is how we build a community and feel connected.
So to recap the benefits, you improve your English, you build confidence, you discover new things, and you can make new friends. The rewards are huge.
They really are. Okay, so now that everyone is excited about the why, let's talk about the how. This is part 2, your how-to guide for talking to strangers.
All right, the first step is to find the right situation. We want to find a low-pressure environment. That means a place where it's normal and easy to talk.
Okay, so what are some good examples?
Think about places where people are waiting, like waiting in line for coffee, waiting at a bus stop, or waiting for a class to start. People in these situations are often open to a quick chat.
That's a great tip. Also, think about people whose job it is to talk to you, like a librarian, a cashier at a store, or a server in a cafe. They expect you to talk to them, so it's very low pressure.
And who should we look for? You want to find someone who looks approachable. That means they don't look super busy, stressed, or in a rush.
Right. If someone is wearing headphones and typing furiously on their laptop, that's probably not the best person to interrupt. But someone who is just looking around or smiling, that's a good sign.
Okay, so we found the good place and a person who looks friendly. Now for the hard part. What do you actually say? How do you start? This is often called breaking the ice.
Let's make it easy. We have 3 simple conversation starters. Tip number 1 is the compliment. This is my favorite. It's easy and it makes people feel good.
So what does that sound like?
It can be as simple as, "Hey, I love your jacket," or "That's a really cool backpack." People love receiving compliments. Then you can ask a simple follow-up question, like, "Where did you get it?"
Simple and effective. I like it. What's tip number 2?
Tip number 2 is the situational question. This means you ask a question about the situation you are both in.
Okay, give me an example.
If you're at a coffee shop, you could ask the person in front of you, "Have you tried the vanilla latte here? Is it any good?" If you're at a bus stop, you could ask, "Excuse me, do you know if the number 5 bus has come yet?"
That's smart because you already have something in common. You're in the same place at the same time. It's a natural reason to talk.
Exactly. And our final opener, tip number 3, is the shared experience. This is when you make a comment about something you are both experiencing.
Like talking about the weather?
Yep, talking about the weather is classic small talk. Small talk is polite conversation about unimportant things. You could say, "Wow, it's so windy today."
Or if you're in a long line, you could say to the person next to you, "This line is moving so slowly, isn't it?"
Exactly. It shows that you're friendly and open to talking. So to review, our 3 easy openers, the compliment, the situational question, and the shared experience.
You know what, Melody? I think it would be helpful to actually hear one of these in action. Can we do a quick role play?
Great idea. I love role playing. Okay, you be the person practicing your English, and I'll be a stranger. Let's imagine we're waiting in a long line at a popular bakery.
Okay, so we've broken the ice. The other person smiled and answered your question. Now what? How do we keep the conversation going?
The key is to ask open-ended questions. These are questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. They usually start with words like who, what, where, when, why, and how.
Right. So instead of asking, "Do you like this coffee shop?" which is a yes/no question, you could ask, "What's your favorite thing to get here?"
Perfect. That invites a longer answer and keeps the conversation moving. Another important skill is active listening. This means you really pay attention to what the other person is saying.
So you're not just thinking about what you're going to say next.
Right. You can show you're listening by nodding, smiling, and saying small things like, "Oh, really?" or "That's interesting." Then you can ask a follow-up question based on what they just said.
So if they say, "I'm just grabbing coffee before I go to my guitar lesson," you could say, "Oh, you play the guitar? How long have you been playing?"
You've got it. It shows you were listening and you're genuinely curious. And remember, a conversation is a two-way street. You should also share a little bit about yourself. It helps the other person feel more comfortable.
That's a great point. It can't be just an interview where you ask all the questions.
Exactly. Now, all of this sounds like a lot. But remember, many conversations with strangers are very short, maybe just a minute or 2, and that's perfectly fine. The goal is just to make a small, positive connection.
That's a relief. It doesn't have to be a deep, long conversation. But before we move on, I think it's really important we talk about something else.
I know exactly where you're going with this. Part 3, safety first.
Yes. While talking to strangers can be wonderful, your safety is always the number one priority. Always.
Absolutely. The most important rule is to trust your instincts, or as we sometimes say, trust your gut. If a person or a situation makes you feel uncomfortable for any reason, you do not have to continue the conversation.
That's right. You can always end the conversation. So, what are some polite ways to do that?
It can be very simple. You can just smile and say, "Well, it was nice talking to you. Have a good day." And then you can walk away.
Yeah, or "I have to get going now, but take care." You don't need a big excuse. Your comfort is reason enough.
Another tip is to always have these conversations in public places where there are other people around, like the coffee shops and bus stops we mentioned earlier.
And be careful about sharing personal information. When you first meet someone, you shouldn't share things like your exact address, your phone number, or where you go to school.
Right. It's okay to talk about general things like what neighborhood you live in or what subjects you enjoy, but keep the specific details private until you know someone much better.
These safety tips aren't meant to scare you, they're just to empower you. Knowing how to be safe will actually make you feel more confident when you go out and practice.
That's such a good point. Being prepared is the key to confidence.
All right, we have covered so much today. We talked about why talking to strangers is so beneficial, from practicing English to making friends.
Mm-hmm. And we gave you a practical guide on how to do it, finding the right spot, using easy conversation starters like a compliment, and asking open-ended questions.
And we also covered the super important safety rules like trusting your gut and keeping personal information private. The main message we want you to take away is this: it's okay to be nervous, and it's okay to start small.
Yes, you don't have to have a 30-minute conversation your first time. Just aim for a small, positive exchange. And to help you get started, we have a weekly challenge for you.
I love the weekly challenge. What is it this week?
This week, your challenge is to start just one tiny conversation with a stranger using one of our tips. Just one.
That's a great challenge. It could be as simple as saying, "Have a nice day" to the bus driver, or giving a compliment to the person who makes your coffee.
Exactly. The goal is just to try. See how it feels. We promise it gets easier every single time you do it.
That's all the time we have for today's episode of the Easy English Listening Podcast. We hope you feel inspired to go out and make a connection.
Thanks so much for listening. Join us next time for another tip to take your English to the next level. Until then, take care and happy chatting.